Okay, so in 9.3 number 10, this is probably the hardest one on the WebAssign, so you've probably watched some of my other videos. I'll do my graph over there, and you can fill in the center, the small vertex, the large, the foci, that kind of stuff off to the side. So basically right now what we have to do is do the completing the square technique. And so when you look at this, I'm going to put the x squared, so I'll do my work down here. There's x squared, then there's a negative 4y squared plus 24y. I have to move the 52 to the other side. Now, there's nothing with the x squared, so we're basically done with that one right now. And so I do need to factor the negative 4 away from the y squared. And then 24 divided by negative 4 would give me negative 6y. And I'll have to add a new number there. And so negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. I square that, and I get 9. So when I add 9 here, we have to be careful. I have to check out front, and there's a negative 4. So that's really negative 36. So I've changed my problem by negative 36. And then we're going to have x squared minus 4. And then you're going to have y minus 3 squared. Remember, the negative 3 just goes in the parentheses. And 52 minus 36 is 16. So the final step is to divide everything by 16. And so I'll bring it back up here. I have x squared over 16 minus 4 over 16 is 1/4. So that's going to be y minus 3 quantity squared over 4. And the reason why we divided by 16 everywhere is so that our hyperbola was equal to 1. So when you look at this, 0, opposite of what's in the parentheses with the y, is 3. So 0, 3 is my center. 0, 3 is my center. And then we need to find the vertices, and you do the first denominator. So I'm going to go to the right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, because my x was 0, I'm still doing, negative 4, 0, and 4, 0 for my vertices. And then we can do the second denominator, which is a 4. So I can go up 2 and down 2, and I can draw in that imaginary box. Just do a horizontal line until you're above your vertices like that. Go down. You just want to give yourself an estimate. So now I go from the center through the corners of that imaginary box. Remember, you can count slope if you would like to count the slope out. And then go back to your vertices, which are the blue dots, and draw in your hyperbola. So you go out toward and just follow them. So then last thing we have to do is find the foci, and that's going to be c squared equals adding the two denominators together. So the square root of 16 plus 4 is the square root of 20, which you can use. You can type that in. WebAssign will take it. But if you do 4 times 5, you can write 2 root 5 as the simplified. Now, again, I'm going to go from the center. So my center has a 0 for the x. So when I go to the right and the left, this one is going to be, the square root of 20 is a little bit more than 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, here's a focus. It's going to be at 2 root 5, or the square root of 20, comma 0. And you do the same thing going left. So that's negative 2 root 5, or negative square root of 20, comma 0. So then finally, my y value is 3. So remember, we're up 3. The center is at 0, 3. So I add and subtract from the x is 0, but my y value stays 3. And then when I look at doing the asymptotes, these imaginary lines, This is the first time we've had a problem where the intercept is different, but again, I can clearly see both of them hit the y-axis at 3, so I do not even have to solve for b again. So if I do my slope, I do what's under the y was a 4, so I do square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 16 under the x is a 4, so I have plus or minus 2/4, which is really plus or minus 1/2. So if you see somebody use a slope of 1/2, you might be confused where they got those numbers. 2/4 is really what you would like to see, but we reduced the fraction. So my first one would be y equals 1/2 x plus 3, and the other one would be y equals negative 1/2 x minus 3.